गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। प्रणाम, वणकम, जय हिंद एंड सत श्री अकाल। आज हम एक पीक इनटू एवरीडे चाइना देखेंगे और इसमें देखेंगे द चाइनीज डोमिनोज। वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। व्हाट आर द चाइनीज डोमिनोज डूइंग? व्हाट इज द डोमिनो? डोमिनो एक गुटका होता है कि एक को धक्का लगाओ सारे गिर जाते हैं, जैसे ये दृश्य में दिखाया गया है। और चाइना का हाल यही है। इस दृश्य में तो सिर्फ एवरग्रैंड एंड कंट्री गार्डन का दिखाया गया, जिसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे। बट इट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स इट्स बैंकिंग सेक्टर, इट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स एंसिलरीज, इट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, राइट? A whole lot of things are involved and there are problems, and we'll focus on them. Everyone talks of China economy going down, चाइना का इकोनॉमी डूब रहा है, ये वगैरह वगैरह। बट मेरा ये है कि ये डूबने का चक्कर तो आई सेड लॉन्ग बैक, किसी ने बिलीव नहीं किया। आज जो मेरा ये है कि ये मैं बताना चाहता हूँ आप सब लोगों को, ये डूब ही नहीं रहा, ये वापस आएगा भी नहीं। It will not recover. It will just not recover at all. और मेरा ये अनुमान है कि 7 to 8 years before it stabilizes, and then population crisis will take over. That's for sure. It will remain a big economy. सबको तंग करेगा हमें, right? Before I talk of Chinese dominoes, today I had a talk with a lot of officers in one of our formations in Arunachal Pradesh. I spoke to them about balance of power and deterrence. वो वीडियो थोड़ा लंबा है, 2-3 दिन के बाद मैं वैसे जारी कर दूंगा, आप देख लीजिए। यू कैन सी इट इन पार्ट्स। दैट्स द वे वी हैव टू गो। सेकंड पॉइंट व्हिच आई वांट टू थिंक इज, अगर आप सोचते हो कि ये वीडियो लंबा है, पार्ट्स में देखिए, कोई जल्दी नहीं है। ओके ओके, तो विल टॉक ऑफ चाइनीज डोमिनोज, उसके बाद मैं क्वेश्चन आंसर्स लूंगा। The first thing is this. This is the article which came out today morning. पहले बार मैंने देखा, उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, ऐसे ही देख लिया। बट सडनली आई सेड यार इसमें कुछ अलग है, तो इसको पढ़ा मैंने। China's economy has entered new normal. न्यू नॉर्मल होता है, न्यू नॉर्मल होता है, न्यू नॉर्मल। इसको it's something new which is happening. A leading policy advisor. He's a policy advisor who has written this. I mean, you can go into the article in South China Morning Post and see it. And wants in a call for systemic reform. They want a systemic reform, which might not happen. Okay. What does he say in this? It's interesting. He says, a shrinking and aging population poses a challenge to the quality, spending power, and motivation of China's future workforce, diminishing overall productivity and capital returns, and ultimately hurting the long-term national growth potential. Now, this is a policy advisor of China who says this. ये बड़ा क्लियर बोल रहा है कि भाई आपका आबादी सुकड़ रहा है, आपके पास लोग होंगे नहीं काम करने के लिए, और आपका नेशनल ग्रोथ लॉन्ग टर्म में प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा। सेकेंड, दिस पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, चाइना's पोटेंशियल इन इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ विल फॉल फर्दर इवन बियॉन्ड ओरिजिनल एक्सपेक्टेशंस। ये भाई साहब हमारा गीत बोल गा रहे हैं 6-7 महीने के बाद, राइट? The bottom is not there in this. We don't know where the bottom is going to come, right? कुछ दिन के बाद ही पता चलेगा एक्चुअल कहानी, क्योंकि चाइना में आज के दिन बहुत कुछ हो रहा है। The mismatch between China's labor market and structural changes in the industrial sector as it pushes for greater production efficiency means that it will be hard to solve job related challenges including youth unemployment. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका लेबर मार्केट में मिसमैच है। मिसमैच का क्यों लेबर मार्केट में मिसमैच है? लेबर मार्केट बुढ़ा हो जा रहा है और बुढ़ों को प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या होगा? मुझे एक मशीन में लगा दोगे तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूं मैं, राइट? और सो इसका मतलब इनके जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट है, नौकरी वगैरह, उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम है। Traditional stimulus, which concentrated on infrastructure construction, is not going to work under the current economic condition. ये तो मैं पहले से बोल रहा हूँ। आप अगर इनका चाइना का गवर्नमेंट ने पैसा दे दिया सबको स्टिमुलस के लिए, तो वो क्या करेंगे? वो अपना कर्ज चुका देंगे और बैठ जाएंगे वो खुश। वो जो पैसा है वो अपना पैसा बचा के रख लेंगे, कोई खर्च नहीं करेगा। प्रॉपर्टी में स्टिमुलस देना कोई फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि वैसे भी प्रॉपर्टी डूबा हुआ है, उनके पास जरूरत से ज्यादा मकान है। उनको स्टिमुलस देके क्या और मकान बनाओगे? कोई फायदा नहीं है। तो किस चीज का स्टिमुलस देगा चाइना? कुछ नहीं देगा, कुछ दे नहीं सकता। एक्चुअली अगर आप देखेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल में चाइना एक बेबसी के कगार में खड़ा है। ओके, ट्रेडिशनल स्टिमुलस ओके बोल दिया। कॉल्स फॉर फर्दर रिलैक्सेशन ऑफ चाइना's huku's household registration system, which restricts population movement and also prevents rural migrants from enjoying public services in अर्बन एरियाज। ये बोल रहा है ये कि भाई हुकू सिस्टम में बदली करो, ताकि लोग जो गांव में रहते हैं वो शहर में आ सकते हैं और शहर में जो इनका फैसिलिटीज दिया गया है उसका फायदा उठा सकते हैं। ओके, कुछ कुछ एक तरीके से तो ठीक है ये, पर जो चाइना में हो रहा है वो उसका विपरीत हो रहा है। जी जिनपिंग क्या है कि लोगों को रूरल एरियाज में धकेल रहा है। क्यों धकेल रहा है? ये देखिए, calls on urban retirees, veterans to return to rural roots to in revitalization push, क्योंकि इनके एग्रीकल्चर डूब गया है। तो ये इसीलिए तो हमने वो इनफैक्ट 6:30 बजे मैंने फूड इनसिक्योरिटी के बारे में वीडियो आउट किया, जो पहले भी किया था उसको एडिट करके आउट किया। लोग है ही नहीं गांवों में, रूरल एरिया में काम करने के लिए, और ये व्यवसाय बढ़ाना चाहते हैं फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए। तो एक तरह इनका रिक्वायरमेंट है कि जो रूरल एरिया में जो फैसिलिटीज नहीं है, वहां जो लोग रहते हैं वो क्यों वो फैसिलिटीज को पाने के लिए वो शहर में लेके आए, मोर अर्बनाइजेशन। दूसरी ओर अगर लोगों को रूरल एरियाज में ना ले जाए, इनको और प्रॉब्लम है। वैसे भी डिवाइड है, क्योंकि रूरल एरिया में जो रहते हैं उनके पास हेल्थ का केयर ठीक नहीं है, वहाँ नौकरी नहीं मिलता, बहुत गरीब है। ये जो रूरल अर्बन डिवाइड है वो अभी बाहर आ रहा है एक एक। जब देखिए, जब व्हेन एवरीथिंग गोज फाइन, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन, पर जब प्रॉब्लम शुरू होता है तो एक एक प्रॉब्लम बाहर आता है। और अब जो सॉल्यूशन है वो प्रॉब्लम है, एक प्रॉब्लम है तो सॉल्यूशन हो जाता है। तो वो चाइना का हालत है। अभी जाए तो कहाँ जाए ये, राइट? ओके, ये भी थोड़ा डिटेल पढ़ेंगे इसको। ओके, ये सर्कुलर जो है इसका, ये वेटरन्स टू रिटर्न टू रूरल रूट्स हैव बीन साइंड बाय 9 मिनिस्ट्रीज एंड सेवरल गवर्नमेंट बॉडीज, कि भाई जिस जो जो तंदुरुस्त लोग हैं जाके रूरल एरिया में काम करो, रूरल रिवाइटलाइजेशन गोल। ओके, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट देखिए, पॉलिसी में फेल विदाउट रिफॉर्म ऑफ लॉ बारिंग रिटर्नीज फ्रॉम लीजिंग और ओनिंग लैंड और प्रोविजन ऑफ बेटर हेल्थ केयर, ऑब्जर्वर्स वार्न। ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। क्यों? आप लोगों को वहां भेजना तो चाहते हो, पर वहां का जो पॉलिसी ये है कि whoever goes to one who changes from rural to urban or urban to rural can't switch. So if you're an urban dweller and you are pushed to the rural areas, so the problem is that you can't own land there, you can't do anything. So if you can't do anything, you have no stake in that. Why will you work? So you need reform, huku. The previous step, he says, you change huku, taki people from villages can come to the towns to get better facilities. So what does China do? What can China do? So the requirement is both sides. And today, China doesn't have the kind of funds to completely fund the rural areas and lift up infrastructure there. क्योंकि वहां पैसा नहीं है. Okay. Now, in this, in this article, which I'm now showing you, there's a reference to an older article. And this article is of February. Okay. Again, see the headline. China says its plan to bring modern socialism to rural areas cannot afford to fail as external pressures mount. This as far back as in February. Let me give you a background. जब ये आर्टिकल आया था, ये भी ऐसे ही आर्टिकल था, तो मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया इसको. पर ये साउथ चाइना पोस्ट मॉर्निंग पोस्ट में इन द सेंटर देयर इज वन स्पॉटलाइट एरिया where important articles are kept. This was kept there for over 15-20 days. 10 दिन के बाद मैंने कहा यार ये आर्टिकल क्यों यहाँ है. मैंने पढ़ा इसको. जब मैंने पढ़ा, I got goosebumps all over my body. यार ये तो this is a very important document, very important article, and everyone has left it. उस दिन मेरे को पता था कि ये इनका प्रॉब्लम is going to become more. And I had said this in one of my broadcasts also. And I'm saying it again. Those of you who are really interested, open this article and study it. But then even the headlines give you a good indication as to where it is going. China says its plan to bring modern socialism to rural areas can't afford to fail as external pressures move. Simple headline. But they have a annual document, central document. It spells out critical importance of developing and supporting China's poorest regions. And there are hundreds of millions of residents. It's a strongly worded document in latest show of strength by Beijing to bolster self-sufficiency out of concern of being strangled by other countries in key areas. Most importantly, ये जो document है, this talks of the Communist China Party losing the grip on the countryside. That's the danger. This revitalization push and all this nonsense. If you read this article, you understand that if the divide between the rural and urban China increases, the unrest will start in the villages. The social contract जो है वो लोगों और CCP के बीच में ये you give your freedom to me and I will give you prosperity, वो कहाँ टूटेगा? ये अर्बन एरिया में नहीं टूटेगा, ये दो जगह टूटेगा. ये एक जगह टूटेगा रूरल एरिया में, क्योंकि वहां वैसे भी गरीबी है, गुर्बत है वहां. ये बताते नहीं है चोर. तो वहां प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, क्योंकि अगर वहां क्योंकि इनके पास अभी कोई स्टिमुलस वगैरह कुछ नहीं है, तो वहाँ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी नहीं है, जॉब भी नहीं है, सब कुछ नहीं है, तो दे विल हैव गेट मोर प्रॉब्लम्स. और दूसरी बात, इनका जो यूथ का प्रॉब्लम है, अगर उनका देयर एस्पिरेशंस आर नॉट मेट, they're going to have problem. This article in this document aims at that. Very, I mean, again, the earlier article and this are very innocuous looking things, but it hits at the root of Chinese, you know, worry, the CCP's worry. That's why I brought it today. Okay, and then of course, August, Chinese manufacturing has been bombed out. Exports in August see in contraction for fifth straight month. Contracting, right? No, so so the economy is not expanding. The outside external economy, internal. I've shown you the key problems. Structural problem is also there. If there is civil unrest, it'll come from somewhere in the villages. I mean, what is the thing about the villages? अगर आप इनका हिस्ट्री देखोगे, Mao, when he succeeded against the nationalists, Chiang Kai-shek, ROC, he started his movement in the villages. इनका डर यह है कि villages are going out of their control. तो ये धकेल रहे हैं ये एक्स सर्विसमैन को villages में जाके कब्जा जमाओ. So they have, it's a major issue which, right. Now we'll talk of the property sector और property sector का dominance के बारे में बात करेंगे. इससे पहले कि हम property sector के बारे में जो अभी हो रहा है इसके बारे में बात करें, I'll take you back to what I spoke in February. What did he say in this? China's property sector is not a deflation rate. It is the top economic worry. If China's economy has to go down, it will go down because of the property, and property will not revive. That's the deal. Okay, so just see what I spoke 6 months back, and you'll understand what I'm talking.
Sector. Why is it? We must understand that the Chinese property sector constitutes nearly 1/4 of its economy. Right? And this is in distress. And it's been in distress for over a year now, ever since the Evergrande crisis broke out. Along with this, Xi Jinping had tightened the screws on the tech sector, educational tech, fintech, and even retail tech, and ride-hailing cabs, and Alibaba, and Tencent, and all of them. Right? They've been pruned. So that was 15% of the GDP. So 15% of the tech sector and 25% of the property sector, both are in serious trouble. And if these two are in serious trouble, where is China's GDP heading? And in case someone talks of the revival of the Chinese GDP, look at this sector. If this sector revives, then there is hope. Otherwise, Chinese GDP and growth is going to be stagnant. So let's understand this in a little more detail.
Okay, so this is what I had said then. The property sector is the key to China. अगर ये डूब गया तो चाइना डूब जाएगा. इसमें मेरे को दो राय नहीं है. वहां से अभी तक कुछ बदली नहीं हुआ है. और उसके साथ साथ इनका जो फाइनेंशियल टेक सेक्टर और एजुकेशनल टेक सेक्टर एनीवे हैज गॉन कंप्लीटली. So there is 30 to 40% of your economy which is not going to revive. Okay, why will this not revive and why there's a problem? We'll see a series of headlines which have connected on the property sector and the tech sector. Okay, China property, how the world's biggest housing market emerged. But that's the heading is not a great thing in this. What is written inside is the great thing. He says home ownership in China's ultimate symbol of success, the mark of adulthood, readiness for a family, and ownership of one's financial destiny is owning a flat. Flat सब कुछ है इनका. Chinese citizens devote as much as 74% of their savings towards housing, compared with 35% in the US, according to research. अब सोचिए, प्रॉपर्टी इज वन ऑफ देयर मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर्स, क्योंकि अगर मेरे पास मेरा पूरा 75% मेरा सेविंग जो है वो फ्लैट में है, और फ्लैट का कीमत डाउन हो गया है, और बहुत जगह में मैंने पैसा दे दिया और मेरे को फ्लैट नहीं मिलने वाला है, तो मेरा हाल क्या होगा? मैं कौन सा जाके फेरारी खरीदूंगा? फेरारी छोड़ो, मैं एक मारुति भी नहीं खरीदूंगा. मैं तो बोलूंगा भाई साइकिल में काम चला लो. ये तो स्वाभाविक है ना. जब तक ये प्रॉपर्टी सेक्टर इनका रिवाइव नहीं होता, लोग गरीब होंगे. ओके, तो गरीब तो होंगे ही, और गरीब रहेंगे भी, क्योंकि इनके पास नौकरी नहीं है. नौकरी क्यों नहीं है? जैसे मैंने पहले देखा है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर डाउन है. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर डाउन है तो नौकरी नहीं मिलेगा. ओके, हाउ चाइना's property and debt crisis limits policy makers ability to revive the economy. इसका मतलब बड़ा क्लियर. इतना कर्ज में डूबे हुए हैं सब कि दी गवर्नमेंट, इनका गवर्नमेंट, इनको ये नहीं पता कि करना क्या है आगे. दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. इनको ये नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं पता कि हम करें क्या. ओके, सो an overly indebted economy means China cannot afford to roll out a massive stimulus and is facing a much slower growth trajectory. ये बार बार ये स्टिमुलस के बारे में क्यों मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, क्यों सब बात कर रहे हैं? जब 2007 में लेमन ब्रदर्स का जो प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, तो एवरीवन वाज इन अ प्रॉब्लम. The Chinese government came out and gave a massive stimulus to people. They put money in the people's pocket, put money in various sectors and revived the economy. अगर वो ना करते तो उसी वक्त ये कोलैप्स हो जाता. पर अभी ये नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि उस वक्त क्या है, प्रॉपर्टी सेक्टर वाज द मोस्ट थ्राइविंग सेक्टर 2007-8 में. सब पैसा लगा रहे थे, सब निवेश कर रहे थे, सबको आशा था कि ये प्रॉपर्टी सेक्टर हमें बहुत पैसा देगा आगे जाके. इनका खुशहाली का नींव प्रॉपर्टी सेक्टर था. अभी तो वो आशा नहीं है, तो किसको देंगे निवेश? ये सब कर्ज में डूबे हुए हैं, पूरा देश कर्ज में डूबा हुआ है. ठीक, सो इसीलिए ये आर्टिकल के ऊपर ही मैंने वो चाइनीज डोमिनोज इफेक्ट, इन्हीं का, इस आर्टिकल से ही मैंने लिया था वो कवर. राइट, ये क्या बोलता है? चाइना प्रॉपर्टी क्रैकडाउन, व्हाई सरप्राइज विक्टिम कंट्री गार्डन कुड बी वर्स देन एवरग्रांड फॉर द इकोनॉमी. ये कंट्री गार्डन है, ये भी एवरग्रांड की तरफ बड़ा डेवलपर था, डेवलपर है. ताकि नहीं, अभी तो डूबने दो, जब डूब जाएगा ताकि बात करेंगे. सब सोच रहे थे कि जब एवरग्रांड पिछले साल डूबना शुरू हुआ कि ये कंट्री गार्डन चलता रहेगा, और चलता रहा, और फ्लैट दे रहा था, वो बॉन्ड के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट भी दे रहा था, सब कुछ ठीक था. और अचानक 2 महीने पहले ये बॉन्ड पेमेंट मिस कर दिया, इसके पास कर्ज रिपेमेंट नहीं हो पा रहा है, वगैरह वगैरह. अगर ये इस स्तर तक आ गया, एंड दिस वाज सपोज टू बी द बेंचमार्क कि ये सबसे बढ़िया डेवलपर है, ये नहीं डूब सकता. अगर यही डूब रहा है तो बाकियों का हाल क्या होगा? बात ये है, कंट्री गार्डन हमने सुना ही नहीं पिछले, जब इसके बारे में, बाकी ग्रुप्स के बारे में सुना, इसका नाम कहीं जिक्र ही नहीं हुआ, कोई बात भी नहीं कर रहा था. राइट, और अभी क्या हालत है? कंट्री गार्डन टू सस्पेंड ट्रेडिंग ऑफ एटलीस्ट 10 ऑनशोर बॉन्ड्स. ये इंटरेस्टिंग है. बात यह है कि वाई ये किस लिए इंटरेस्टिंग है कि 10 ऑनशोर बॉन्ड्स, ये इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है, ये नहीं कि सस्पेंड ट्रेडिंग। ऑनशोर बॉन्ड का मतलब क्या है? ये बॉन्ड के जरिए पैसा उठाते हैं मार्केट से, जैसे हमारा रिजर्व बैंक भी बॉन्ड देता है और अब से पैसा लेता है। ये मार्केट में जाके ये बॉन्ड देके पैसा उठाते हैं। और ये बॉन्ड का क्या होता है? ये बॉन्ड बिकता है वापस लोगों को, लोग खरीदते हैं, निवेश होता है, सिक्योरिटी फर्म निवेश करते हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट फर्म इसके अंदर निवेश करते हैं पैसा बॉन्ड खरीद के, कि ये उम्मीद है इनको सूद मिलेगा और ये अमीर हो जाएंगे। आखिर इसका निवेश कहां से आता है? एक आम आदमी से आता है, आप और मैं, हम, या हमारे जैसे। ये बॉन्ड में ट्रेडिंग बंद हो गया तो इसका मतलब बॉन्ड एट रिस्क। जिसको निवेश किया, जिसने भी निवेश किया, उसको कुछ पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला है। आप सोचो, एक आम आदमी अगर वो फ्लैट खरीद लिया तो उसको पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला है। बॉन्ड में अगर उसने पैसा लगाया तो उसको पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला वापस। तो उसका सेविंग कहाँ है? गया। उसका गया तो वो खरीदारी क्या करेगा? जीरो। तो चाइना का इकोनॉमी कहाँ ऊपर जाएगा? नहीं जाएगा, ये नीचे जाएगा। और पहले आर्टिकल में मैंने बताया लोग बुढ़े हो रहे हैं, और ये पहले भी मैंने बताया कि इनका आबादी घट रहा है और आबादी बुढ़ावस्थाओं में जा रहा है। वर्कमैनशिप है ही नहीं इनके पास, लोगों का पैसा गायब हो रहा है। ये कैसे वापस ऊपर रहेगा? मैं भी तो कुछ जानू। सी, आई एम नॉट एन इकोनॉमिस्ट, बट फंडामेंटल कॉमन सेंस लगाइए, ठीक? कंट्री गार्डन, राइट, ये इनके सबसे बड़ा ये है। यू सी कि इनका जो रीच है हर शहर में है, चाइना के अंदर हर शहर में इनका प्रोजेक्ट है। ईस्ट में ज्यादा है, यहां तक जिंजियांग और तिब्बत में भी इनका प्रोडक्ट्स है, इनका बिल्डिंग्स है, सब डूब गए। ओके। और एक केस ग्राफ है, कंपैरिजन कंट्री गार्डन वर्सेस एवरग्रैंड। कंट्री गार्डन के प्रोजेक्ट ज्यादा है, 3100 पूरा चाइना के अंदर, और एवरग्रैंड का 1200। हमने सोचा एवरग्रैंड इज द बिगेस्ट, एंड बट ये तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स इट्स ऑलमोस्ट 2.5 to 3 times। बट एवरग्रैंड का जो ऑफशोर डेट ज्यादा है, बैंक बोरोइंग्स भी ज्यादा है उसका, इसका कम है, पर ये भी डूब रहा है अभी, और बढ़ेगा। लायबिलिटीज 100, आई मीन इट्स ऑल बिग। एवरग्रैंड के एम्प्लॉयज ज्यादा है। एवरग्रैंड का ये पूरा फिगर्स, दे आर बिगर बिकॉज एवरग्रैंड वाज मोर अर्बन ओरिएंटेड, बड़े शहरों में इनका कारोबार था, और ऑफशोर कारोबार थे, और अलग अलग कारोबार थे। पर कंट्री गार्डन जो है ना, सिर्फ फ्लैट बनाते। तो कंट्री गार्डन को जो 3000 प्रोजेक्ट है, किसको चुएगा? आम आदमी को। एवरग्रैंड किसको हाथ लगाया, किसके सर पे हाथ लगा दिया? अमीरों के हाथ, सर पे। सर के हाथ ऐसे नहीं, उसको भस्म करने के लिए। सो बोथ अमीरों को और गरीबों को इसमें, both have got hit in Evergrande and Country Garden. So there's a big problem. Okay. Not only all this, since Evergrande's collapse, several other major developers, Kaisa, Fantasia, Shimo, I never heard of all this nonsense. They all defaulted. All big groups have defaulted. Okay. There's another thing called Sino-Ocean. He says in this article, the interesting thing is not about country garden, property crisis, breaking point वगैरह, एक और है Sino-Ocean, ये भी गया। इसीलिए डोमिनो है, एक गिर गया दूसरा तीसरा तीसरा चौथा गिरता जा रहा है, इसके साथ साथ बाकी इंडस्ट्री भी लेके जा रहा है साथ साथ। लोग क्या है, ये अगर आर्टिकल देखेंगे और इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ेंगे, लोग घर खरीद नहीं रहे हैं वहां। नो वन इज बाइंग हाउसेस देयर, सब वेट कर रहे हैं। वो चाइना वाला भी थोड़ा दिमाग है ना उसमें। वो वाई इज द आम चाइना मैन वेटिंग कि जब प्रॉपर्टी प्राइसेस डाउन हो जाएंगे तब जाके हम खरीदेंगे, तब तक पैसा लगा पकड़ के रखेंगे। और वो पैसा पकड़ के रख रहा है घर खरीदने के लिए, क्योंकि उनका देयर साइकोलॉजी इज टू बाय अ हाउस। वेट कर रहा है कि जिस दिन घर का कीमत बढ़ जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा, उस दिन जाके मैं खरीद लूंगा। If he's waiting for a cheap house to buy and all the money he has is holding on, he'll not consume. So where will the consumption economy revive? I mean, you just see how it is connected. It's connected with people. At the end of the day, economy is about people. If the people are not pushing the economy, you're sunk. And that's what's happening with China. China's economy was absolutely fine till such time it had markets outside. Those markets are not going to come back. Some markets will be there. It's not as if everything will not, but those booming market, boom time markets will not happen. High-end technology will not be sold outside China. Within China, there's no buying power. Yeah, some people will be there who are very rich in China, they'll manage. Okay, in this article, if you go into details, China too big to fall property giants, just the tip of the real estate crisis, as suppliers are being dragged to death. कोई पाइप दे रहा है, कोई सीमेंट देने वाला है, कोई कांच देने वाला है, कोई कुछ और देने वाला है. Someone is giving services to these places. Everyone is down as per this article. If you read this article, you see the effect of the property crisis on other industries. If the cement chap is not going to make cement and sell, all his entire thing is gone, and other chemicals will also go. Same with paints. After all, property is a big sector. Property is a big driver of any economy. And in China, it's the biggest. So this article tells you that. Okay. Bank of China, ICBC see profit growth drop sharply as slowing economy, property crisis hit takes a toll. So the banking is hit. It's not only the other industry, the banking is hit. The property can't revive because people are not buying property. And people can't buy property because what money they have, they're holding on. Or if they invested in a flat, they don't have a flat, so they can't do anything. They don't have a job. Those who have invested in bonds, property bonds, they're not getting anything back. Just see the circle. It's a vicious circle. This is not deflation. Everyone said Evergrande जब होगा, it's not Lehman movement, ये movement, वो movement, ये तो movement से movement ही है. The whole bloody thing is collapsing. Okay. Bank of Communications, China Merchants Bank report increasing bad loans among property crisis. So everyone who's taken loan will not return back. No one will return back. And if you see externally, जिसने भी BRI में लोन लिया वो भी वापस पैसा नहीं देगा. क्या पाकिस्तान पैसा देगा चाइना को? पाकिस्तान ने आज तक किसी को पैसा नहीं दिया. So there's a problem. So ये है debt and property. But why I showed this picture? Just see carefully. You think it looks like a dragon? मेरे को तो मुर्गी लग रहा है ये कौन सा ड्रैगन है? ये तो मुर्गी है. तो मतलब आज के दिन चाइना का हालत एक मुर्गी का हालत है. Okay, let's look at this. What does this chap say? He says China's record annual limit for infrastructure boosting bonds to be spent by October. So what's the government doing? That's the point in this. That's the is something we have to understand. So they're going to give record bonds for infrastructure which is of use, no use. And who will buy the bonds? The people. So China is investing into infrastructure and raising money through infrastructure bonds for infrastructure which it doesn't need. If it doesn't need that infrastructure, there's no return on investment. If there's no return on investment, who will cop it? The people. So the people of the People's Republic of China are getting poorer by the day due to the government policies. If people of the People of Republic of China are getting poorer, how will the economy revive? This is what I had to say, and with this, I'll rest my case. But then I'll not rest my case completely because there's one article which I saw today. I couldn't, filch it out, which says it's in the South China Morning Post that if China seems to be adopting the same policies which it has adopted to arrest the one child policy which has failed. You see, क्या हुआ कि ये वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी कोई नया पॉलिसी नहीं है, पुराना है, और ये इसके अलावा दे न्यू द प्रॉब्लम्स लॉन्ग बैक, सो दे स्टार्टेड टू चाइल्ड पॉलिसी भी नया पॉलिसी नहीं है, ये 20 साल पुराना है, 2006-7 में इन्होंने शुरू कर दिया कि दो चाइल्ड पॉलिसी, बट द पॉलिसी ऑफ टू चाइल्ड पॉलिसी वाज सो पुअर दैट इट फेल्ड, it continued to fail, and China kept sweeping it under the carpet. And now they're coming out with a whole lot of firefighting policies for reversing the trend: three-child policy, two-child policy, incentives, school fees, this that. It's not working. So this article says the policies being adopted by China to resolve the property crisis are similar to the policies adopted by China to resolve its one child or reverse the one child policy. It will not work. It will fail. So that is China for you. And here I rest my case. Okay. Now we'll take the questions. I hope you have some questions on this. I see a few other questions, but we'll take all. Don't worry. Anand, good evening, General. 17,000 subs. Oh, thanks a lot, Anand. Thanks. Because of your good wishes, I'm getting more. But my request to all of you is please get your friends on the channel. I need more. I need more because more people have to know what's happening. We are going through a very critical time. And why are we going through a critical time? You have a authoritative power which is collapsing slowly, inch by inch. We are seeing the collapse of China unfolding in front of our eyes. And we are also seeing the rise of India. When this opposite movement happens, we are in a problem. Let's be very clear. This is a very critical time. I need more people to understand what I'm talking. Because I don't see many, you know, great strategic analysts who are talking otherwise. Maybe there are. I don't know. मेरे को नहीं पता. But if you feel that I am talking sense, please get your friends on. People need to understand what's happening. And that is why tomorrow I'm going to talk of the possibility of a problem on the LAC with General Doshan Singh. आइए सब. Okay, let's see. Why is Xi Jinping not coming to India for G20? There are 2-3 reasons, Jawaharlal. One is there might be internal problems because मैंने एक Chinese handle, Twitter handle में पढ़ा कि the military में कोई problem है. दूसरी बात है, he can think that it is of no use coming to India because he can achieve nothing. And third, he's simply fed up of India because he knows he will get a kick here or he will not this thing. Okay, and he cannot control the narrative. What John says is correct. Okay, right. Hello, sir. I'm a big admirer. Had my first ever CDS attempt on Sunday and screwed up math, so will not make it to IMA. Will try again for OTAs. Nonetheless, as being an officer is what counts. Any advice? Look, don't put your heart into it. Put your heart into it, but that's not the end of life. When one door closes, another opens. That's my advice. Pranam General, why we stopped manufacturing of LFG and IFG is still an excellent gun, cheaper and lighter than Dhanush. Why not upgrade the tech and start? No, no, no. We are manufacturing. Incidentally, I think you got the wrong idea. If I conveyed, we had stopped it, but we restarted it. We are still manufacturing. Don't worry. We are not manufacturing IFG. We are manufacturing LFG. IFG is not required to be manufactured. It's gone out. One gun is good enough, right? Hemant Gohel, welcome. Yeah, happy Teachers Day and Jai Hind. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Uh, so the Huku system was a factor that propelled China's stupendous growth during the past 3 decades, as it ensured cheap labor. Replacing it will result in increasing labor costs, thus making uh, more expensive, less competitive. It would be good for the long-term economy and internal consumption overall. Yeah, all this is fine. Let them really struggle with it. Then, but they're up a gum tree. That's all we can say. Hmm. Yeah, here is another Sam Keating says not able to go to. Don't worry. What you have learned for 2 years by preparing for IMA and OTA will prepare you for a better life uh, in any walk of life, any career. So don't worry about it. Careers will unfold the way you do. Hard work is more important. Okay. Okay, Vishwanathan, please refer your 1932 map. It is notice that all major developments is concentrated in areas populated by Han and Manchuria. Yeah, I agree with you. Right. Uh, what is the proportion of conscripts in the Chinese army? It's about 60%, 50 to 60%. Well, my opinion is very clear. They can't fight. Could you explain about the buffer zones created on the LAC? Is it only an Indian territory as reported? No, no, this is wrong. Absolutely wrong. Let me explain the buffer zone. Okay, it's like this. I think the LAC should be like this. The Chinese thinks the LAC should be like this. The area between the two is the buffer zone. This is China, okay, and this is India. This side, okay, this side is India, this side is China. So the Indian thinks the LAC is this side, the Chinese thinks it's this side. It's the area is crisscrossed. There's an overlap of our perception. That is different perceptions of LAC. So the buffer zones have been created only where there is different perceptions of LAC. So what has happened in the buffer zone really is China has gone back to the Indian perception of the LAC, and we have gone back to the Chinese perception of the LAC. From the Chinese perception of the LAC to the Indian perception of the LAC was our patrolling points, and vice versa for them. So it's a overlapping area which has now become a buffer zone. That's about all. So that's wrong. Your shows may are watched by foreign national establishments. That is why you seem to have scared them. That's a nice one. Hmm. Yeah. Do Army General have courts to launch nuke? No, there's nothing. There's no nuke, no court showed with us. China's property bubble is also a caution to us. In India, property prices have skyrocketed. Yeah, but it's you know your property is not 30% or not. It's still around 10-12%. China is falling in almost all sectors due to its poor policies. Does it translate into political threat for Xi Jinping? Yes, this is This is one of the reasons why he might not be coming. There might be a political threat internally. Do you think Indian government using food grains for making biofuel, ethanol is a good strategy, especially with the danger of falling yields on account of climate change? See, don't think that the Indian government is a foolish government. They'll do the right thing. So just relax. Whatever they're doing, they must be taking right inputs and doing the right thing. They're not that. Okay. Sir, what are your views on the electric artillery gun by Bharat Forge and DRDO? Till what extent is the military involved with Sarkari and government agency? Okay, let me tell you, I'm fully aware of this story because I started the attacks program when I was a Major General. And I was not, I was a bit apprehensive of the electric part of the gun because the electric systems have never been fielded. And the problem with any electric system is you need power, you need energy. Where do you get energy in the battlefield? That means you need a separate generator because the APU is not good enough to drive all the electricity. And if it does, then the APU needs to be very heavy. Because the APU is heavy and because of the electric motors for all electric drives, the gun has become heavy. So there's a problem, and since the gun, and that's one reason why the gun has become heavy. The other reason why the gun has become heavy is they've chosen a bigger chamber in it to get more range. So the barrel is heavy. So overall, barrel is heavy. You need greater efficiency to take it up and down and left and right. So they put electric drives because they're more powerful. If they're more powerful, you need more energy. So actually, that gun has got caught in a design trap. Uh, Resultantly, it's not that the gun doesn't function well, it functions well. The problem is it's become too heavy. My worry is that it might, I mean, I don't have a worry. I'm very clear that this gun won't fit the high altitudes. It can only go into deserts and plains. So the way I look at it is these guns, because they're limited number, these guns can be put in the front against Pakistan. It has extra range, so it doesn't have to move much, all that. And now the deserts are not so great as earlier, so mobility, and if needed, you can make uh, you know methods to improve the mobility of the gun through other methods and use it, right? Uh, and shift the lighter guns up to the Himalayas. So we have a way out. But to think that this is the best gun, I don't think it's the best gun. To think this is the worst gun, I don't think it's the worst gun either. It's another gun. The good thing is it's our gun. And if you've gone wrong in the first model, you'll correct it in the second model. There's no hurry. After all, this is a game which goes on. You learn. So it's this part of the learning process. So that's where I have on Bharat Forge and DRDO gun. I started the process. I own it. I own the thinking. Um, it's part of learning. We'll learn. Is China still lending money through BRI or is it gone bust? It's gone bust. There's hardly any money to give around. They're only re-greening loans. The loan which they're giving is only on paper. If Pakistan has to repay 100 million as interest, so China is giving a loan of 100 million to repay the interest. That's it. Why China cannot bail out these developers as China? It doesn't have forex reserve for bail out developers. How will it give money to developers? It doesn't have money to give to developers. Don't think China is so rich that it can do this thing. And then if it's complete, okay, what you're trying to say is that money given to developers means they'll finish the flat and make profit. What happens to people? So giving money to developers is not a good idea. And giving money to people is also not a good idea. People will finish off their mortgage and keep quiet. That's it. The issue is not that whether China has money to give for stimulus or not, or a bailout. Every government has the capability of doing it. You print more money, you have the capability. The issue is, how do you inject that bailout, right? And what is the return for you? What's the future of that bailout? Will it revive your economy? Because you're putting money in a sector which is not required. There are no more houses needed. For the next 10 years, if China does not construct flats, they'll won't have they I mean they'll still have enough houses. What is India's plan in the Arctic region? Because China and Russia have big plan. Oh, we also have. Let's see where we go. Uh, I think it's too early to put your finger in that. But we are making plans. There are people who are working on it. Don't worry. Just see the total library. Yeah, not easy to bail out. I agree. Mm, will China invest in gold if they don't? They can invest in anything from my side. They're not getting out of the problem. Look, gold also. See, money is something you have to understand. You have to keep it in rotation. Money is like water. Unless the water. See, why are rivers clean? Rivers are clean because water flows and there's hydrolysis. Hydrolysis, rotation. And as hydrolysis takes place, the filth goes out to the banks. And the main river is clean, flowing water. But a stagnant lake is dirty. So just putting your money in gold or keeping it in a property without returns is all stagnant. It got no value. It's a very simple way of looking at it. ओके, शैकत घोषल चाइना यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स को रिप्लेस करने की तैयारी कर रहा है. इंडियन आर्मी से चाइना की कोई टेंशन नहीं है. चाइना पहले ताइवान को निपटेगा, उसके बाद इंडिया से. ठीक है, ये आपका विचार है, मैं क्या बोल सकता हूँ. सर, कैन इंडिया काउंटर चाइना स्टेल्थ अंडर? या ऑल दिस इज वे. जस्ट थिंक Amitesh, where will this stealth underwater drone come? Where will it be used? What will be the range? There are so many things. Just don't कल्पना मत कीजिए कि इसके पास कुछ है. तो ये कल ही मैंने बात किया था पीएलए के आर्मी के बारे में. ये जितने इनके कैपेबिलिटीज हैं बताने के लिए अच्छे हैं. मेरे पास लेजर गन है, कॉइल गन है, इलेक्ट्रिक गन है, हवाई जहाज है, अंडर वाटर ड्रोन है, सब कुछ. ये कहाँ इस्तेमाल करेंगे, इसका क्या फायदा है, इसका करने का क्षमता क्या है इनके अंदर, इनके पास ट्रेनिंग क्या है, इसका कीमत क्या है, ये सब पता नहीं हमें. और इन्होंने आज तक इसके साथ लड़ाई नहीं किया. क्यों कष्ट कर रहे हो यार इसके बारे में? लोगों के बारे में सोचो. लेट मी आस्क यू, आपको बताना चाहता हूं. मैं आपको जवाब दूं या आपका कार को जवाब दूं या आपका फ्लैट को जवाब दूं या आपके पास एक मोबाइल है तो उसको जवाब दूं? बड़ा कीमती है यार तुम्हारा मोबाइल या तुम्हारा कंप्यूटर या जो भी है आपके घर के अंदर, या वॉशिंग मशीन. बड़ा कीमती, सब हमने खर्च किया उसके ऊपर पैसा. मायना क्या होता है? आदमी, पीपल आर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. या there are many reports China is preparing for war. Okay, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Tomorrow is what the thing is. Tanks versus ATGMs. Explain and asking this question. Look, a, a tank is an offensive weapon, and ATGM is also an offensive weapon against tanks. It's a race. Which is better? A tank comes out with a capability, the ATGM comes out as anti-capability. The tank comes out with a solution against the ATGM, he will get out of it. It's just that. That's all. It's one against the other. Nothing very great. Purple face crying, yeah. Why can't China nationalize these real estate agencies and sell the assets to citizens? Citizens have already paid for it. It seems that you don't know how they operate. In China, you pay for the flat upfront. So whom will they sell it to? All the flats are on किसी के नाम पे है. चाइना का प्रॉब्लम यह है कि जिसने पैसा दे दिया उसका फ्लैट बनना शुरू भी नहीं हुआ आज के दिन, उसको कैसे चुकाएंगे? Amitesh, I'm not taking any more of your questions. Okay. Yeah, same thing. Don't worry about. Okay. Merge whole China, Taiwan into India. Nah, forget. If LCA Tejas was equipped with an indigenous turbofan engine, do you think Vietnam might have shown interest? Yeah, it is. It is. But we first you couldn't make an engine, so why talk of it? What is your take on Xi and Putin not coming for G20? Putin was very clear he couldn't have come, and it would have been a diplomatic problem because of that notice from the this thing Interpol. Xi Jinping, there are many reasons. जैसे पहले बताया मैंने, इसके मेरे ख्याल में अंदरूनी प्रॉब्लम है, इसके मिलिट्री में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, इसका अर्थव्यवस्था में प्रॉब्लम है, हो सकता है हेल्थ इज ऑल्सो इन अ प्रॉब्लम, and he might not get the bow he wanted in India because India has told him to get lost in SCO. We also told him to get lost in BRICS. So if he comes here and is not, he's neglected, it will be a great loss of face for him. That's the thing. AK-23, yeah, it will get inducted. Yeah. Do you predict China responding to a strategic signal until border is resolved? Well, so far, let's see how it goes. We don't know. We don't know where it goes. I mean, tomorrow let's see the discussion with General Dushyant. Okay, whether there will be a war with China or not, or war. If not war, will there be something with China? Uh, it's all iffy. So we'll keep the ball rolling by talking, and maybe we'll come out with some ideas and then advise the real people. Yeah, SSS defense sniper rifle. I don't know. This is something you have to ask the army. So last time I asked, pardon me for repetition, but with strategic partners like Saudi and UAE in China's lap, how can we do a blockade of Malacca Straits of the tankers from these countries? Just block them. That's it, if required. So what if Saudi and UAE are partners there? If you look at it the other way around, if you block Malacca Strait, hypothetically, if you block Malacca Strait, the oil from China, UAE will not go to China. So there will be surplus oil in the world. There will be a glut in the oil production. Rates will fall. You will get more oil. Where's the problem? Okay, thank you, sir. Saludo. Great. Thanks a lot. Welcome. When India-China borders issue will be when India-China borders will be resolved, I don't know. How will it be resolved? I don't know. By war or talk, I really don't know. Why last 75 years borders is not issue resolved? Yeah, this is something because our governments were weak. Both our governments were weak. They could not sort out the whole thing. And then there's a mismatch between what China wants and what you want. There's a mismatch between the growth trajectory of China and you. And then there's a lot of underconfidence on your part. It's only now things are coming to some even keel, but now, you know, the geopolitics don't allow a settlement. There's no initiative to resolve this. Let's be very clear. The new China map which they've given, they're very clear. Their resolution is at their terms. You want your resolution at your terms. There's no midway. If Joe Biden is unable to attend G20 to COVID due to COVID, will it be a setback? No, continue. Where's the problem? Why are you looking at it so much? Don't bother. You stated Xi Jinping has stationed his army and air force across Tibet at a great cost. Is he planning to attack? Look, why are you worried about attack? If he gets I keep telling you people, if he attacks, he's lost, finished. Sir, in India, we are also going to invest too much in real estate and land, as trend suggests, not 30-40%. Pakistani general said something about zero range nuclear weapons, kindly expense. Oh, this is nothing. They're trying to put a nuclear warhead into a 155 gun. That's about all. Nothing new. So, how important are these BRICS and G20 meetings? Do these people ever agree on a concrete plan in these events, or it's just a tea party in a practical sense? See, the BRICS and the G20 were very good till the time they were economic forums. You see, when the BRICS came in, it was good because all these countries were almost at the same level. They had a lot to, you know, get together and useful for growing countries. The G20 was good because it as an economic forum. But what has happened is that these have become geopolitical entities. BRICS has become a geopolitical platform. So it's going to be bickering all over, right? But the thing is that it keeps countries engaged. These platforms keep countries engaged. It gives a platform for people to meet and talk rather than, on only online or through newspaper reports and statements and things like that. Let people talk, and it's always good when people talk. Government of India is trying to acquire lot of fighter jet engines, but in reality, no one is going to. Okay, we'll see that. That is something we have discussed many times. What future do you see of BRICS after the G20 summit, short term or long term? They'll both continue. BRICS has got a different character, G20 has got a different character. And China will want to expand BRICS and not get involved too much with G20. Maybe this is Xi Jinping's way of signaling to G20, I don't want to be any more part of it. Okay. He would like to merge BRICS, ASEAN, and SCO and put up a Sino-centric world order. So everyone has an agenda. We'll see how that agenda works. I heard it is hard to maneuver submarine in South China Sea. It is hard to maneuver anything in South China Sea because the sea is shallow. So when the sea is shallow, it's very difficult to maneuver. You get detected very fast. You can't go deep. Okay. I mean, it's just about 30-40 feet at many places. And so that's the reason why you have this problem. Okay. Thank you for your precious time and giving questions. Oh no, I'll give to everyone. I have no problem. Don't worry. Time ki baat hai. We'll have time. We have time to talk. How far in cyber tech and how far are we in cyber tech and space? Space defense. Look, a space-based defense is something taking off. It's a new field. It's new for everyone. So far, space has been used only for surveillance and communication. uh, Mounting lasers, yeah, well, this is all still aspirational, next generation. And we are up there. See, the two countries which can really claim to have some capabilities are China and USA. If after them anyone can have, it is us. Cyber tech, we have to do a lot. Let me be very honest. We've not done enough. Gunner shot, sir, what was the process by which Colonel RSN Singh recruited by civilian? I really don't know. RSN is an old guy. I really don't know what process there. Government in India is trying a lot for jet engine technology, but no one is going to. Oh, don't worry. You- With China being known for propaganda, what among their weapons do you take seriously? Anti-ship, anti-missile, ICBM, cruise missile, though many of them have not crossed South China Sea and stealth planes. I don't take anything seriously with China. till they can demonstrate it. Okay, when they demonstrate, we'll see how it is. Okay, uh, but having said that, we need to guard against being overconfident about their failures. We need to assess and build defenses against these. Definitely, their propaganda will make one into two. So you have to look at that pitch, the ability in reading. You have to read them well and say what will be the real capability, and it comes out. Don't worry, it comes out through contact. The best way of knowing Chinese weapons when you see them in front of you and they're deployed. So we now have a very fair idea of what's across the LAC. So let them come to Bay of Bengal. तब देखेंगे. They have not entered Bay of Bengal. They have not left 100 kilometers from South China Sea. Let them come. Okay, then we'll see. Would be great if you did a podcast on the reason behind CCP's extremely aggressive behavior since Mao came into power. China has assumed aggressive stance in every way, something that we haven't seen since the time of Kublai Khan. Yeah, I think you've given me a good idea. I will do it. I'll do it. Why they've been aggressive, but fundamentally they've been aggressive because that's a communist way of life. Chiang Kai-shek was aggressive. If you see Sun Yat-sen, he was also aggressive. Chiang Kai-shek was very aggressive. To beat that aggressiveness, these chaps had to be aggressive. And Mao by nature was an aggressive character. Okay. Their aggression is not related only to Mao. It's also during Chiang Kai-shek's time. Okay. So, but Chiang Kai-shek was more friendly to the Americans, so the Americans didn't have problems with him. And don't think if Chiang Kai-shek and the ROC had been in power, we would have had an easier ride. He still laid claim to Tibet. He still laid claim to Xinjiang. So, and that's Taiwan's official policy as ROC for a long time. So it's not as much as this. Uh, See, where we undid ourselves was the way we handled Tibet. That's where we undid ourselves. How far are we in cyber defense? I've given this. Could you please shed some light on why will they not pull out money from US reserve? What will they do with it? They can take out money and what will they do with it? If the US market today is destabilized, whatever manufacturing is going on in China, that will also get destabilized. And it will collapse the yuan first. See, money has to circulate, and now they're getting interest on from US. Today, interest rates in the US are the highest. If he takes out money, what will he do with it? After all, he has to earn money. It's all finance, right? It's as simple as that. I know the answer, but I'd like you to say, what's the state of the Indian military readiness? We are quite ready, don't worry. You've been asking this quite some times. Okay, historical question. Why were British not able to conquer whole of China? Why are they not interested due to economic benefits? They didn't have time. They didn't have time and colonialism. If the Second World War had not happened, they might have. They might have. Okay. And Americans had a bigger interest in China than the Britishers. In fact, even the Portuguese had a bigger interest in China, uh, quite a bit. Okay. Uh, so the First World War was not that bad, but Second World War bankrupted Britain, and China came. They had to let go of all islands, all colonies, and the first colony they let go was China, or rather, the first interest they let go was China because they were not heavily invested in it. It was only Hong Kong. Hong Kong was later the idea. Why did Kissinger visit China, and why China had a very unusual grand welcome for him. Kissinger visited China to make good with USA. Sorry, make good USA with China. And China was there. These chaps knew that China had markets, they had cheap labor, and they also wanted to make China against USSR. If they separated USSR from China, they could defeat USSR, which they did. And then they said, "We'll help China." That was the carrot they gave. "We'll help you, your economy, and all that." They did it. Only thing is, they were foolish to get caught in the Chinese trap. Now they're getting out of it in a very costly manner. Can all military communications be disrupted if all military satellites are destroyed through anti-satellite weapons? No, sorry, it can't happen. Worry gamer, your name suits you, huh? Actually, your name suits you. Sorry, but your name suits you. You worry so much. You don't read. You don't read. You read. Not a single anti-satellite weapon will be used to destroy a satellite. Take it from me. Why it will not be used is this: the moment you destroy anything in space, it becomes space junk. So that space junk is moving at a speed of 7,000 kilometers per hour or 7.5 kilometers per second. It hits anything, it's a missile. And that's free, that junk is going in orbit of its own. Your satellites are going in a predefined orbit. That's going in a Tedameda orbit. And if it hits any satellite, it's gone. And you have no control over it. You cannot control the fact that your satellites won't be hit. And if that space junk can hit the satellite today, it can hit tomorrow, day after, anywhere else. The costs, and if you have more satellites in space and you create more space junk, the more chances of your own satellites going down. China. Okay. Oh, you're talking of this, Piyush. Sorry. Oh, this current visit of his. I think China might have called him, to because to send a message back to US. They would have said, "Please come." Or I don't see the American government sending Kissinger. Remember, Kissinger at heart was a Republican, and this is an out and out democratic government, and that they wouldn't have taken anything. Okay, and the Democrats were very primal in impeaching Nixon, and they held Kissinger responsible for many things which Nixon did. My guess is that he thought he could play some useful role. He would have sounded out China. China would have said, "Okay, come over," something like that, but it failed. Earlier, we did not know India had Chinese experts. Of late, we have seen several from army come out and expose China. Similarly, does our army have exports on other? Yeah, yeah, we know a lot. Don't worry. Do you believe India should start doing soft imperialism for not exploiting in the East after next decade because China won't stop? See, we don't need soft imperialism. We have our own way of garnering influence, and that is through trust, through our culture, and or other, soft power. You do that, we're okay. Don't worry. Right. I think we're finished. Okay, Worry Gamer he says, I follow you, Adi, Major General Raji. Oh, thank you. Right, just keep following. My request again, please get more people into the bag. I need more people so that we can talk. Right? Mm, I'll suggest books in the next episode. Uh, there are some good books which you must read. One good book is Revenge of the Geography. The second book is Monsoon. The third book I would suggest is Rise and Fall of Empires. Right? And then Emmy choose one book is there recently which I read. I'm forgetting its name. Anyway, uh, oh, thumbnails for your videos. See, I make my own thumbnails with the idea which I get at that point of time. I am not a professional, right? I am not in it for money. I am not in it for this thing. And like I said, whatever money I get, I'm going to distribute it to poor people who need to go to school, educate them. I mean, and girls basically. I am here to spread knowledge. So some uh, thumbnails are good, some are bad, but I'll do it my way. Okay, I'm not saying. I'm very confident people will come because the way things are growing, people will come, and I'm sure people will come because if I'm sure you would like to know whether we will go to war or not, which I'm going to discuss tomorrow. But irrespective of the thumbnail, so don't worry, I will get there. I'm not in a hurry. Okay, right? Uh, and there are people who matter who watch what I say. Okay, okay. That's it for today. We've gone a long distance, and thanks a lot. Join in tomorrow. Uh, I want a feedback if you can give me. You can give it to me on the SMS through my WhatsApp group or here or as a comment. A lot of these videos which I have done as live, later take out the question answers, reduce the thing, and I keep putting it out. What's the best time to put it out? Is it in the morning or in the evening? I am not getting an idea for that uh, because some of these videos which I put out later have done better, but I don't know whether to put it out in the morning or the evening. Give me a feedback. Based on your feedback, I'll think, and I might ask for a poll also on the community. Right? Thanks. Great interacting today again. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting topic. In fact, the whole week is going to be very interesting topics. And I'm going to get Ambassador Gurjeet back to discuss about the post G20 issues, and we'll discuss ASEAN also with him. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind.